How's it going, everyone? This is Tom. I'm back actually with a speed test comparison, kind of a benchmark speed test comparison between the iPad Air on the left, the iPad Mini Retina in the middle, and then the iPad Mini first generation on the right. The iPad Air and the iPad Mini with Retina display have the same processor, the A7 processor, so it'll be really interesting to see how they compare. The first test we're going to be looking at is Geekbench. This gives a really kind of well-inclusive score, overall score of your processor performance. Also includes your RAM, your overall system performance for your particular device. It's also interesting to see how long the benchmark actually takes to complete itself. So as you can see, the iPad Air ever so slightly first before the iPad Mini. The iPad Air took around 31 seconds, the iPad Mini around 33 seconds, and then the original iPad Mini on the right is still going. The iPad Air scores 1,478, and that's a single core score, and then a multi-core score of 2,692. The iPad Mini with Retina display interestingly scores slightly lower on both scores than the iPad Air. Comes in with a score of 1,395 for a single core performance, and then 2,521 for a multi-core performance. Interestingly, we actually find from this benchmark that the A7 processor in the iPad Mini is actually clocked slightly slower than it is in the iPad Air. As you can see under the processor section on both of these descriptions, you will see that on the iPad Air, the processor is clocked at 1.39 GHz, but on the iPad Mini, it's actually clocked at 1.29 GHz. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why they've lowered the clock speed slightly, made it slightly less powerful on the iPad Mini. Maybe it's to do with the amount of screen brightness it's giving out. I'm not 100% because the resolution is the same, so it's not 100% clear on why they've done that. I actually skipped ahead just because the iPad on the right is just horrendously slow at this, taking well over 2 minutes, but you can see how much of an improvement there is on the iPad Mini with Retina display in sheer power. 263 is its single core score and 496 for multi-core. Pretty much just absolutely obliterated. Next, we're going to be running the JavaScript benchmark SunSpider. This is just kind of quite a good general overview about how web performance will be on your tablet. I started all of these at the same time, click the Start Now button at the same time, and interestingly, the iPad Mini, the original iPad Mini, is actually kind of first to actually fully render the web page, and then the iPad Air and the Mini with Retina display catch up. But after the kind of initial setting up for the benchmark is done, the iPad Air just storms through this benchmark. So then the iPad Air is finished, the iPad Mini with Retina display is finished, and then the original iPad Mini will finish in just 1 second. SunSpider gives you a time score, so of course the lowest time is the best. So on the left, 384 milliseconds to complete the benchmark. On the iPad Mini with Retina display, 414 milliseconds. And then the iPad on the right, again, just pretty slow, coming in at 1,291 milliseconds. From these very simple benchmarks, we can easily tell that there is an enormous upgrade in performance from the original iPad Mini to the iPad Mini with a Retina display. And we can also tell that the iPad Air, even though it is bigger, it's not going to be dramatically quicker than the iPad Mini. The only difference is the very slight difference in clock speed. Hopefully you have enjoyed or found this video helpful. If you have, drop it a comment, drop it a like, it really helps up my channel. Subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one, and I will catch you next time.